Today, we're talking about the birthplace of reggaeton, Colón, Panama, and a little bit about the history of Colón Canal Zone and some of the reggaeton artists that came out of it. My name is Nadia Simone. I'm the founder of Black Dina Media, where we amplify Afro-Latino and Afro-Caribbean stories in film, TV, and art. Where do we begin? Okay, so the United States wanted a canal, and at the time, Panama was still like Colombia, because we used to be a part of Colombia, and the United States wanted the canal. Colombia said no. So what does the United States do? What they always do, back a coup, and now we have a new country, and we own that new country, and we control that new country. So now we're getting the canal that we want. So that happens in 1903, and what they did was essentially create this place called the Canal Zone. If you're Panamanian, you're very familiar with the Canal Zone. The Canal Zone is where a lot of people live. Many people argue the first apartheid, because you had the gold rolls, the gold communities, and the silver communities.
These golden and silver communities are super important because, our friend Marcus Garvey was actually revolutionized and radicalized when he worked for United Fruit Company, where he saw directly the difference between how black workers were treated versus white workers. The white workers lived in the gold communities. They had health care. They had, great housing. They got paid a lot more. The black people in the silver communities, less pay, less access to good health care, and the whole shebang. So he was convinced the only way that our situation can change is if our economics change, and we own our own economics. I agree.
Back to reggaeton. General, which we know was from the Rio Abajo area, Nando Boom, who actually doesn't get a lot of play. We don't talk about Nando because he just didn't have the same career as El General. Nando Boom is actually really integral to the history of reggaeton, but I don't know why we don't talk about. Well, I actually do know why we don't talk about him. So get into Nando. I'm gonna tag him, and I'm gonna talk more about his work as well.
Hernato is really interesting because he grew up in the Canal Zone, and he has that experience, and he talked about the experience of feeling like he was a part in an American country, even though he was living in Panama. Up in the Canal Zone, which at the time was a territory of the United States, and it acted like a territory of the United States. If you committed a crime, you were tried in U.S. courts, not Panamanian courts. And there's just some ongoing issues around statelessness around Black Panamanians from that area. This is a little bit of that history. I'm actually having an encore of the whitewashing of Black Latino music. So come through. It's on the 24th in 2 days.
Sharing more about Panamanian history and trying to figure out what to talk about, because it's such a big topic. I don't even know where to start.